Families of 7 kidnapped victims in Edo State have accused the police of falsely claiming credit for their release, insisting that the abductees were freed only after relatives paid 6.5 million naira to the kidnappers. The Edo State Police Command had earlier announced that its operatives, working with the army and vigilante groups, rescued the victims during a joint operation in a Wohimi area of Esan Southeast local government. But relatives of the victims have since taken to social media to dispute that account, alleging that security forces were not involved in the release and arrived only after the ransom had been paid. Some family members named their kidnapped relatives and detailed how communities mobilized funds for the ransom. They questioned why the police would mislead citizens by claiming a successful rescue. Comments from multiple users identifying as residents of Wohimi described the police's statement as false, urging authorities to acknowledge community efforts instead of taking credit for what they call the privately negotiated release. The police spokesperson, ASP Eno Ikiodem, declined to provide further clarification when contacted, saying he would respond later. The victims, meanwhile, have reunited with their families, though the controversy over who secured their freedom continues to grow. What are your thoughts on this report?
You know, over time, you notice that there is a trust deficit between the people and the government, whether that government be security agencies or other institutions of government. And this type of stories helps to exacerbate it. Over time, too, we have had claims, even not in kidnapping, where there were citizens arrest or even sister agencies made an arrest, and the police claim responsibility. What that does is this: it creates bad blood between the people, or because you are denying their credit, and it's also misleading. You create a false narrative because somebody who is involved in that case tomorrow would firstly think that rescue would come from here, while that body may not have what it takes to offer that rescue. So I mean, to even say the spokesman was called, he said he will respond later. If there are facts to it's such a weighty matter, what are you responding later? Come out with the facts, how the operations was carried out. I mean, even in announcing the successful rescue, you would have detailed how the operation was carried out. And these families, it could be painful to them. We don't know how they gathered those money. Maybe people, we have seen situations where people call for something like GoFundMe, even though they may not use the GoFundMe, but asking people to contribute, and after making those efforts to get money, you say, let's give an example. If you have a relative or something outside of the country who supported in this fund, and the family collected this money and pay, and the agency come out to make announcement that they rescued the people, that person will feel defrauded by the family. He will feel the family has taken advantage of him, which is not the truth. So this is why I say this to say, in case people who wonder why would the family go that length, because they made an effort, they probably raised money, and you're denying their effort. It is only when you acknowledge people's effort that you can work with them, that you can collaborate with them, that you can even know, who collected this ransom, and maybe see where you can remedy this situation. So I think this is not a very fantastic one for security agency to lay claim to what they have not done. In the grand scheme of things, you said a lot of, elaborated fully on this particular matter. But in the grand scheme of things, you notice that since Nigeria was declared a country of particular concern, we've had a lot of revelations as regards technically, now winning the war against insurgency and banditry. We have lots of, rolling reports on winning, let's say taking some steps on winning the battle, because when you take steps, you're aiming to win at the end of the day, I guess.
So now, when these efforts are now being put in, we are having more feedback from security agencies. We're able to, you see feedbacks on the website and the X handle for the military, where there are constant updates as regards this is what we have done, this is how far we have gone. But with reports like this and the family calling out the Nigerian police force to say, oh no, we got ourselves out. Do you think that this constant need or, speed to report an incident by the police, as carried out by the police in this case, do you think it is basically to try to get the trust of the citizens back, as opposed to giving us credible feedback?
You don't try to get a person whose trust you've already betrayed. If I betray you, the way to win back your trust is not by further betraying you. It's by telling the truth, no matter how painful that truth is. You will see that, okay, this guy is even telling the truth, no matter, even if it is not a palatable truth. If I keep telling lies, I'm only creating a situation where you stand a chance of finding out that these are lies, and the gulf expand further. Now, as it stands now, even the effort that I've recorded over the few days since the declaration by the US president, not many people still believe them. Some think it's an attempt to hoodwink, to make a make-believe. Now, if those category of people who think it's a make-believe hear this type of story and it goes that this story is true, they'll just say, I told you. This is the danger of, not telling the right story. Another question that has been raised with this recent effort, as good as they are, is that why did we have to wait till now? Does it mean these capacities were always there and we didn't use it? So if yes, why were they not used?
Do you think it's more of a case of being underreported as opposed to the...
No, it is not a case of being underreported. It goes to what I've always believed. You see, the case of insurgency in Nigeria, and indeed most other crimes that happen in Nigeria, it is not necessarily because government don't have the power to tackle them, but because in most cases government lack the political will to act, and in some cases they are sheer complacency. Government is complicit, especially in cases of corruption. I mean, in cases where you have security budgeted fund misappropriated, it helps to compound the situation. So it is not just about the capacity. It shows that what has been missing from the government side is the political will to act. Maybe now, because something that looks bigger is upon the system, unfortunately so, then a political will seems to have emerged to act.